Hello hobby friends, I'm Jason and this is Level Up Hobbies. Now today on the channel I'm going to be painting up Hive Fleet Kraken. So let's go ahead, jump in and start painting, and I will see you at the end.
Alright, so for Hive Fleet Kraken we're going to start the same way we did the other two Hive Fleets that we've done so far, and that's with a light base coat, a light prime. I primed this white. I believe it was just Corax white, just through my airbrush, and ideally I could have actually saved myself some time if I would have actually primed it with Wraithbone, because that's the next color that I'm going to put down for all the skin. So for this I would skip this step and just go ahead and prime it with Wraithbone instead of a white. And here we are putting on that Wraithbone color that we actually should have started with to begin with, so pretty much just wasting my time, but this will take at least 2 coats to get really good coverage, but it does look good over the white, so hey, there you go. And now he's here in all of his Wraithbone glory. So in honor of that, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde contrast paint and cover all that up. Make sure you just clean up any areas that it pools. You don't want it to be really blotchy. Really the idea is just to use this as more of a wash to give the model some definition. Just you really want that down in the cracks and crevices. So yeah, so go ahead and paint this over all of the Wraithbone parts, and whenever we're done with that and it's dry, we'll move on to the next step. And as you can see, once you get the all the parts coated, as needed, it does really start to get that definition that we're looking for. It adds a lot to this model, and I'm pretty happy with it. Now grab that Wraithbone base again and go ahead and just start dry brushing all of the skin. We really want to bring the majority of the open areas here back up to that Wraithbone color, that really light off-white. Take your time and just build it up gradually, because we don't want to accidentally fill in those crevices and those details, because that's what really makes the model, like part of what makes the model really stand out. So go ahead and work on this, build it up little bit by little bit, and when you're happy with the outcome, you can move on to the next. And now for the carapace. Like on this, I'm using Blood Angels Red contrast paint. This paint to me is a little finicky. It will leave like tide pools, like tide marks and stuff. So kind of, you gotta work fast but work slow, and just pick an area, cover it. Make sure you have enough contrast on your brush that it doesn't start out thick and then get really thin. Otherwise you will have some marks. I applied this over all of the carapace armor twice to get a nice consistent red, and in the end it looks really, really good. But take your time, get it on here right the first time. And right here we paint all of his weapons in black. I am using Abaddon black from Citadel, but you can really use any black that you want. The black adds a nice contrast to the red and cream colors that dominate the model, at this point, and it's a nice variation from those other colors. So go ahead and grab your black, paint it in, and we'll move on. Also at this point, I paint the hooves and base in black also. Just getting these ready for that kind of desolate wasteland look that I'm going to be painting up the base in just a few moments. And we move back to the carapace, and we're going to start adding these striations. And for that, I'm using Wild Rider Red. This will probably, other than waiting for the contrast paints to dry, this is the most time-consuming part of painting models like this. And really, it's not required to add these, especially for Kraken. I saw some imaging that had it, some of them didn't, and you could really go either way because it still looks good without it. But I think adding these striations to this this armor, it does add some character to it. So if you're gonna do it, take your time, use a nice fine pointed brush, and just don't try to work too fast because you could really just add too much to it that way. I paint the tongue and a couple other fleshy parts of the weapons in some Warlord purple. Then I add some bulbous pink contrast paint. And I finish it off by adding a little bit of the Wraithbone to the Warlord purple and giving all the fleshy bits some highlights. Now I start edge highlighting all of the weaponry using Vallejo Game Color's Somber Gray. And I went with this because it's a cooler gray, and it's a nice contrast to the warmer tones that I have across the model. And now for the base, I dry brushed up some Vallejo Somber Gray, and I finished it off with some Steel Gray, also from Vallejo Game Color. Now this gives me a nice kind of ashen wasteland look to the base. After that, I paint the rim of the base in some black and give it a spray of matte primer. And we are done. And here we have the finished model. All in all, I think this paint scheme turned out fairly well. I do like Kraken in general. That's why, my Tyranid army is based partially off of the Kraken color scheme. So yeah, I think this looks really well. It paints up pretty quickly. The most time-consuming parts would be obviously waiting for contrast paint to dry. And if you have to put a second coat like I did on the carapace, then obviously that adds more time. And then those striations. So I mean, you can go either way with that. But yeah, I enjoyed painting this model. It's the first time I've actually painted actual Kraken color scheme, so it was nice. I definitely enjoyed this. So, but yeah, thanks for joining me here on the video here as I painted up Hive Fleet Kraken. And I will see you guys next time. Later.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me today as I painted up Hive Fleet Kraken from the Tyranids. Now if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like down below and don't forget to subscribe. While you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I publish new material. Thanks again, and remember, build, paint, and play tabletop games. See you later, guys.